Hey guys, CryptoDad here again. Thanks for joining me on the Saturday night live stream. Live from Michigan, where you can throw out questions and I'll do my best to get them answered. We'll talk about Bitcoin, we'll talk about the news, we'll talk about altcoins, going to move some crypto around for you guys, and as always, I'll do my very best to get to your questions and see if we can't troubleshoot your problems here live. So welcome everybody. Sorry there was a little bit of a delay there. It was a senior moment. I had done everything that I normally do. I even was recording the live stream, which I'm still doing, but I hadn't actually gone live yet. It was kind of weird. I had put all the screens where they needed to be, but Dan gave me a call to let me know that I wasn't there yet. And so I'm here and great and glad to be here. So I'm going to have to repeat the last 5 minutes because I was talking. I just wasn't broadcasting. So welcome, everybody. It's good to be here tonight. The market took a upswing early in the week. It's since pulled back a little bit. But the charting news, so to speak, is that we looks like we're holding steady just over 90K. Which is good news. That could mean that our 90K resistance has now flipped to support. I'll let Dan fill you in on the details of that. I've got some adoption news. Barclays is now in the crypto game. There's some movement on crypto legislation in the Senate. There's some Bitcoin related news related to Venezuela, which I'll talk about. Also, I did want to cover the Ledger Global E. It's one of their back-end e-commerce sites, and they suffered a data breach early in the week. And so I did a video on that, but I'd also want to talk a little bit in depth about that and maybe answer your questions if you have any questions concerning this. It was not a wallet hack. If you remember, we had the Trust wallet hack a couple weeks back where people actually lost money. The attackers actually hacked the wallet itself. This was not that. This was customer data that was leaked through a third party. Did not affect Ledger wallets, but there are a lot of scammers jumping on the bandwagon and trying to trick people into thinking this was a wallet hack, and that you need to do something, and it usually involved clicking their link, and then they would inevitably ask you for your seed phrase. So you have to be very careful, but I did want to clarify exactly what this incident was and was not. Also, I received my ERRA wallet from the good people at ERRA, and I thought I might unbox it for you guys tonight. It's a very interesting wallet. It's got an e-ink display, very similar to the Ledger Flex and the Ledger Stacks and the new G5, pardon me. It's like I'm selling Macs again. But this is an air-gapped wallet. So I'd like to do the unboxing here with you guys tonight so we can take a look at this. I probably won't go into the full setup because I can't really write down a seed phrase when I'm live. I usually cut that part out when I'm doing my setup videos. So, but we will unbox it and take a look at it and fire it up and see if we can and check it out. It's a very interesting wallet. It's occupying a very interesting niche, high security, good usability because of the e-ink display. And I don't even know how much this thing costs, so we'll check that out on their website. It might be a sweet spot for some of you. So we'll definitely have fun doing that. So let's go over to the big screen. Good to have everybody here tonight. At least my mic is working. So yeah, I already greeted everybody while I was offline. Really a senior moment if you can think of it that way. I do. But I thought everything was going, and I realized that I hadn't even gone live. So thank you, Dan, for calling me and letting me know. Goofy Dude was here earlier, but he may have to head out for a game. but thanks for dropping by earlier. Mr. Miskey, Andreas Ebert is here. Hans Hannah 350. Andreas, it is snowing here in West Michigan. We got about 2 inches today. Just in time to recover everything after everything had finally melted off. We'd had a couple of warm days. I think it was, oh my gosh, it was close to 60, if I'm not mistaken. It was in the mid 50s at least. The snow had melted off, and then we got hit again today. Hans Hannah 350, Simona Mooland is here. Kenny was here early. Thank you so much for the news. Gregory Wieland. Paul is here. Bobby is here. E. Poston from Colorado. Fred McIntyre. Thank you for reminding everybody to hit that like button. I appreciate that. Doc Goddess is here. Looks like for the first time. I don't recall seeing you here, but you were here early. That's great. You're from New Haven, Connecticut. That's pretty cool. Amsterdam, Holland is here. Dan the Man Westra is here. Here I am. Dan called me, and I was paying attention, and he let me know that it's working. Anyone having battery overheating issues with the Ledger Flex? I usually use my Ledger Flex and my Ledger Stacks plugged in. I have used it a little bit on the go or just on battery power, but I've never had an issue with my Ledger Flex overheating. This is my Ledger Flex. I've got several Ledger Flexes, and I've never noticed them getting hot, like my phone does sometimes. Every now and then, my phone will heat up when I'm doing something. It feels hot in my pocket or whatever. Usually it's because when I put it in my pocket, it didn't go to sleep. But I've never had that issue with a Flex. Never heard anyone mention it. Most battery issues people have are with the Ledger Nano X. It's not a widespread problem, but it is a known problem, and you'll get a lot of people complaining about Ledger Nano X battery power. It is a gadget, so and it really what's the word for it? It's designed for security first and foremost. So and if you've had a Ledger Nano X for 3 or 4 years, the performance is going to degrade over time. So, and I would assume that the battery is one of those things that's going to go first. But I have had people mention that they had battery issues from the very beginning. Personally, I usually use my devices here at home and plugged in. I have used my Ledger Nano X on the go. I've owned several of them and have never had battery charging issues, but I've heard a lot of people complain about it. Yeah. I haven't got my Lambo yet, but we are going to Indonesia this summer, and that's going to be a big deal. I don't know how much content I'll be able to put out while I'm there. I'll do my best. I'll take my laptop, and of course I'll have my phone. When I lived there back in 2007 and 8 and 9, I think, those were the years I was there, getting to know my wife and teaching English. Internet access was kind of sketchy. Getting home internet access was not straightforward, and they didn't have very fast, high-speed internet back then. But my wife tells me that they've since, raised the bar, and they have high speed everywhere, just like we do here in the U.S. now. So we'll see. But I can't guarantee anything. So that is something I'm looking forward to this year. I'd rather have a family vacation than a Lambo. I'll put it that way. So for those of you who have never been in the stream, you can check out my description over here and see the things we're going to talk about. I've got a short little summary of the things I'm going to talk about. I'll talk about that global security incident. That Global E is the name of the company. And then the ERRA wallet unboxing. There's deals to be had. My Ledger landing page will give you a $10 Bitcoin rebate on any Ledger wallet. So check out that link. It's in the description. Tangem is running their New Year's sale. I've got a link that will apply both of these checkout codes for you. It's 10% with a $10 Bitcoin reward, but you'll get an extra 10% using my checkout code as well. So make sure you apply both of those checkout codes. And then with the Tangem ring, it's an even higher discount. I believe it goes to 20% with my... it goes to 25% because they're giving a base 15 plus my 10 will give you 25% off the Tangem ring if you like Tangem. Also, Stamp Seed. It's a great way to store your seed phrase in a durable format that's waterproof, fireproof, fade-proof, tear-proof, all that stuff. It's a great addition to your crypto self-custody overall security. So you should have a durable copy of your seed phrase somewhere, right? Of course, you can still do paper backups, in multiple locations, but it's always good to have a durable backup in case of disaster, right? The Descent wallet is always giving a discount using my links that I've got there down in the description. So down from $159, you can get the biometric wallet for $119. So check out Descent if you like the ease of a fingerprint reader on your crypto device. It's pretty cool. Let's see. We'll talk about the ERRA wallet later. I've got some latest videos. I did this one Monday morning when the news broke about the global email hack. I have to say that there were a lot of people, cranking out clickbait about this hack of a third-party retailer. Saying stuff, I saw titles like Ledger just leaked your data again. It wasn't Ledger. It was an e-retailer, and they ship a lot of products worldwide. They facilitate cross-border payments and, create a basket that works locally and follows local regulations. We'll talk more about that, but I did a video kind of explaining what exactly happened and not to freak out. But a lot of people were posting videos telling people, hey, it's time to freak out. Ledger just, leaked your data again, and looking for clicks. I did my Jamu. I think I talked a little bit about Jamu with you guys last week and showed you a few clips from my kitchen stuff where I was making my Jamu. So, I did a little video on that, and it was interesting. It didn't get that many views comparatively for my crypto videos, but I had a lot of great comments from people. A couple of you from here in the live stream watched it and made comments, and a lot of people made comments about their own morning routines and stuff. So it was rewarding for me. I enjoyed it. All right, so we're here, and let's see. Let's jump into the news, and I don't want to spend too much time on it, but this is our topical market story here. Bitcoin pulls back to 90K as early Friday rally attempt fails. U.S. employment data for December was mixed, while inflation expectations edged higher, and the U.S. Supreme Court did not deliver a ruling on the Trump admin's tariffs. A quick U.S. mid-morning surge to 92K area for Bitcoin failed to hold, with prices quietly retreating for the rest of the session. Approximately 60 minutes before the U.S. stock market closes on Friday, Bitcoin is trading at about 90,300, down nearly 1% over the last 24 hours. As has been typical for the last few weeks, Bitcoin is failing to gain ground as most other assets rise in price. Nasdaq up 1%, S&P up 0.8%. Those aren't huge numbers anyway. Precious metals and crude oil are surging across the board, and the bond market is ahead as well. On the news front, December unemployment was mixed, as I mentioned earlier. The University Michigan sentiment for January rose to 54 against forecast. Closely watched one-year inflation expectations rose to 4.2 from 4.1. These are just expectations. These really aren't figures. This is kind of a survey. And then there was a Supreme Court decision on the constitutionality of the Trump administration's tariff regime, and that's going to have to wait. Watchers had been expecting a ruling on Friday morning, but the tariff case result was not among those published by the court. More case decisions from the U.S. High Court are expected next Wednesday, so we'll see about that. So a lot of macroeconomic factors kind of holding Bitcoin back, so to speak. And spot Bitcoin ETFs lose $681 million in the first week of 2026 as risk appetite fades. Spot Bitcoin ETFs reversed early inflows in 2026 and posted 4 straight days of outflows as fading rate cut hopes and rising geopolitical risk pushed investors off into risk-off positioning. Right. So macroeconomic factors to blame again. We had a little outflows, shedding a combined $681 million over the first full trading week of the year. So if you're not familiar, ETFs are financial instruments where people can invest indirectly in Bitcoin. It's usually more conservative institutional type investors, and there's been some outflows this week. So it looks like, at least for the moment, that the big investors are cooling off on Bitcoin, at least temporarily. So that's the news. Now, I did want to mention this Senate activity on a new crypto bill. And let's see, the name of the bill, I had it down here. Oh, did I miss it? Cynthia Loomis. There it is. The Responsible Financial Innovation Act. It's unclear from this article exactly what is going to be in the bill. I think that's really the reason why there's been a little bit of a back and forth, because we don't know, or they don't know exactly what's going to be able to pass and what won't pass. So there's been a little back and forth trying to push a bipartisan bill out that the president will sign. Let's see here. The chairman of the Senate Banking Committee, Senator Tim Scott, made a formal announcement Friday evening that the industry will get its long-awaited markup next week. Its partner on the bill, the Senate Agricultural Committee, is trying to get on the same schedule for a committee vote, though it's uncertain whether the top Democrat negotiator on the panel is ready. For his part, Scott argued that they've had months of serious bipartisan work to get this far, so now it's time to move forward. On January 15, with a markup hearing, a session in which the lawmakers can discuss amendments before deciding whether to advance the bill to the overall Senate. So nothing concrete yet, but some positive developments on this new bill in the Senate. They didn't mention anything about the House, so I'm assuming it's probably going to have to go to the House after that, or maybe there's a version of it that's already passed the House. I'm not sure. If I remember my grade school government classes, correctly, I thought that most bills originated in the House and then moved to the Senate, if that makes sense. But they go back and forth, so you never know where they're going to stand at any given moment. All right. But good news on that front. And some adoption news here. World's largest custodial bank, BNY, to offer tokenized deposit for institutional investors. The initiative mirrors deposit balances on a private blockchain to speed up settlement and unlock liquidity. Actually, I think when I opened up, I mentioned Barclays. I don't think this is Barclays. This is BNY. Barclays, which is a big English bank or European bank, invested in a stablecoin processing company. That was some news I read a couple days ago. This story is about BNY, a different bank, right? BNY, the world's largest custodial bank, has taken its first major step towards tokenization by offering institutional clients the ability to settle bank deposits on the blockchain. So very interesting adoption news there. The adoption news and the regulatory news just always is good. We're just waiting for people to start waking up and piling back into Bitcoin again. So hopefully these macroeconomic factors will ease. Let's see. Oh yeah, there was some shady stuff going on apparently after Marudo was captured and brought back to New York. Apparently there were some people on Polymarket that had placed some irregular bets on the fact that he would be ousted, and made a pretty penny doing so. So now there's been a little bit of an outcry. Of course, Polymarket is it's on the blockchain, and there's really no way to identify the people. You don't have to sign up. You basically just connect your wallet. And of course, there are ways of determining people that use this platform, but on the surface of it, you don't have to put your name in. So the Senate is working on a bill. I think I don't know if this is in the House or the Senate. New York Representative Richie Torres, with the backing of more than 30 other Democrats in the House of Representatives, has introduced legislation following a Polymarket user netting $400K on a bet related to the removal of then Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro on Friday. Torres said he introduced the Public Integrity in Financial Prediction Markets Act of 2026. According to the New York representative, the bill would prohibit federal elected officials, political appointees, executive branch employees, and congressional staff from buying, selling, or exchanging prediction market contracts tied to government policy, government action, or political outcomes when they possess material, non-public information or could reasonably obtain such information through their official duties. So we don't know exactly who placed these bets, but it's a pretty good bet that it was someone inside the beltway, so to speak, with some inside knowledge of what was about to happen. So that was interesting. Also, I saw some videos talking about the 600K Bitcoin reserve in Venezuela. Now, the upshot of the video was that the government, the U.S. government, Trump, has authorized a strategic Bitcoin reserve in the U.S., but they won't buy Bitcoin for this reserve. It will only be funded by Bitcoin that is confiscated from criminals. And the talk is that Venezuela has a bunch of Bitcoin, and that if the government confiscates that Bitcoin, it will go into the U.S. Strategic Bitcoin Reserve, and that'll be good news for Bitcoin. Unfortunately, as this article points out, the fact that they even have 600K Bitcoin is kind of a myth, and there's no direct proof of it. And even if they did possess it, gaining control of the Bitcoin requires a private key and a passcode of something or a PIN. And so they would have to pressure someone. They would have to find someone with knowledge of this so-called wallet. If it's just one wallet, could be many wallets. You never know. We don't know if this is ever going to come to fruition or not. But this article kind of explains the fact that there's no proof that this Bitcoin even exists. The U.S. capture of Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro has renewed questions over whether Venezuela holds undisclosed Bitcoin reserve, which analysts say remains unproven. On Saturday, investigative journalist Bradley Hope outlined a theory that Venezuela may be holding a hidden Bitcoin reserve worth up to $60 billion, claiming that its government has been converting gold into cryptocurrency over several years. Sources describe a Swiss lawyer who controls wallet access, Hope said in a co-authored report published by the investigative newsletter Whale Hunting, raising questions about the alleged involvement of Alex Saab, Venezuela's Ministry of Industry and National Production, who has been sanctioned by the U.S. Although Hope's theory was quickly picked up by the media, major blockchain intelligence platforms have yet to find proof of Venezuela's undeclared Bitcoin holdings. So it's just speculation that they are holding this. Trackers like BitcoinTreasuries.net suggest that the company has accumulated just 240 Bitcoin, about 22.2 million worth since 2022. The 600K BTC figure is not based on on-chain evidence. Rather, it is a mathematical estimate derived from Venezuela's gold sales since 2018, including a 73-ton sale that year, which accounted for about 40% of the country's gold reserves. If they actually possess 600K Bitcoin, then they managed to fool a lot of blockchain analysts. So, it's kind of a pie-in-the-sky hope that there's 600K of Bitcoin even in Indonesia. Venezuela. And even if there was, it's not going to be, easy to get access to it as it is to steal someone, or what's the word I'm looking for? Confiscate someone's bank holdings, right? Banking is kind of governed by banking rules, and central banks can confiscate bank holdings pretty easy. But Bitcoin's a different story. You have to find the person that's got the key and then apply pressure to them. And there's always plausible deniability. And even if they have this Bitcoin in the country's possession, it may be split up over, a myriad of wallets. So we don't know. But an interesting story. And I saw several videos about how, this 600K worth of Bitcoin, or this 600K Bitcoin would actually, change the market. But yeah, it's just speculation. All right, so I did want to cover this story here about Ledger. Global E incident did not compromise crypto wallets. This is the official position of Ledger. Let's go to the cryptocurrency hardware wallet provider Ledger has clarified a recent data incident involving its e-commerce partner Global E. Global E, a cross-border e-commerce platform integrated by Ledger in October 2023, experienced unauthorized access to order data in its information systems, which affected some Ledger customers. Ledger told Cointelegraph that the incident was limited to Global E's systems and did not involve a breach of Ledger's platform or its hardware and software. Some of the data accessed as part of this incident pertain to customers who made a purchase on Ledger.com, using Global E as a merchant of record, a spokesman for Ledger said. According to social media reports, the Global E incident resulted in the exposure of some Ledger users' personal information, including name and contact details. And then this is kind of a statement by Ledger that they retained some forensic experts. Global E is a third-party e-retailer backend. Ledger highlighted that the breach did not lead to access of any payment information, including payment card or bank account details, and that users' account credentials or passwords were not affected. We would also like to remind you that eGlobal does not hold any sensitive personal data, such as gender, date of birth, or government IDs numbers to serve our customers. Ledger reiterated that in line with its wallet's design and mission, Ledger products are self-custodial, meaning that only the user has access to the private key or the seed phrase, which enables users to access their crypto holdings. Now I've, let's see what we got here. Yeah, I've accumulated some information here. The first thing I'll say is that there is no information about how much data was leaked. The data hack of the Shopify third-party retailer that occurred in 2020, they released figures that stated that about 270,000 users were affected by that data breach. There has been no release of any information about how large this hack was by either Ledger or Global E. So we really have no idea how much personal data was released by this hack. So it's ambiguous at the moment, right? It could have been, 50,000 users. It could have been 300,000 users. It could have been 10,000 or maybe even less. We have no idea. So it's really not, time to jump to conclusions about this. I did put together some information here about Global E. I was really curious about was there any other hardware wallet manufacturers affected by this Global E data breach? And from what I could uncover, the answer is no. No other hardware wallet manufacturers use Global E as a kind of a web backend. And really the reason that is because Ledger is a much bigger company. They distribute from their Paris headquarters and through other retailers, but their web interface ships Ledger products all over the world. And so they use this back end not only to handle the load, but also to comply with regulations and customize the basket and the user interface for multiple jurisdictions. That's the job of a company like eGlobal. There are other companies, and it was difficult to find information about this too, but I did get a kind of a smattering of other companies that use eGlobal. Marks and Spencer, Hugo Boss, Victoria's Secret, Land's End, Bath and Body Works, Cole Haan, Puig, Beauty and Fragrances, PacSun Apparel, True Classic apparel brand that expanded internationally. This is just a small sample, and many more retail and lifestyle brands use Global E to sell internationally. So it's kind of basically the reason that Ledger uses them is because they sell internationally and they sell so many products. So that's really the reason why. Most of the other hardware wallet manufacturers are much smaller. They may use something like Global E. Global E is not the only international web commerce backend, so they might use others. But so far, I couldn't find any other hardware wallet companies that were using Global E. And, once again, this was a wallet hack, not a ledger system breach. It involved Global E, a third-party e-commerce and international shipping partner that handles checkout, taxes, and fulfillment for many global brands. Blah. No private keys, no recovery phrases, no firmware or payment information were accessed. Ledger operates at a much larger global scale than most hardware wallet companies, shipping millions of devices directly to customers worldwide. That level of international direct-to-consumer volume often requires a specialized cross-border e-commerce backend like Global E. Smaller wallet makers tend to ship fewer units, rely more on resellers, or use simpler regional fulfillment setups. There's no public evidence that they use Global E in the same way. This is about commerce scale, not security competence. The real risk is phishing, and I did have another article about phishing, and it's very interesting that as soon as this news broke, there were a whole bunch of scam phishing emails that people were getting. And I doubt seriously that all of those were actually the people behind this data breach. Let's go back over to this one here. Yeah, I've got this other follow-up story here. Within hours of the disclosure, users began reporting a surge in phishing emails and scam attempts. Fraudsters posing as Ledger or Global E support appeared to be exploiting the leaked data to pressure recipients into handing over sensitive information. As we all know, this is not the first data breach involving Ledger e-commerce. Their Paylocity third-party backend was hacked, and it's very similar. It had nothing to do with the company itself. It was just their third-party backend. Same thing happening here. And so the question may arise, how could this happen twice? Well, they've obviously gone to a more bigger e-commerce backend. They've moved from Paylocity, which is something that, anyone can use. My wife uses Paylocity with her Etsy account. And so it can be scaled up, but it's kind of more of a retail type thing for, end user retails. Global E sounds like a much bigger international type company. So they have upped their game, so to speak. But these databases are targets for hackers. And I would also point out that data breaches are, unfortunately, a very common thing in today's world, and much larger companies that spend much more on security have been victims of data breaches like Equinox, Capital One, Target, Microsoft, Yahoo. So there are just data breaches happening all over the world. Security researchers warn that similar campaigns following past Ledger leaks have led to wallet takeovers, financial losses, and in some cases concerns about physical targeting in so-called wrench attacks. So who is at risk? Security experts say risk extends beyond whose data was exposed. Anyone known to own a hardware wallet can become a target for phishing or social engineering, regardless of whether their information appears in a leaked database. There are many ways that scammers can triangulate whether you own crypto. even I think I mentioned this last week, or maybe in my comments. Anyone, there have been giant credit card hacks. Equinox was a big hack of credit information or credit rating information. But if a hacker has in their possession credit card data, they can see names, addresses, credit card numbers, and products. So it's pretty easy to get who owns crypto from a credit card hack, as well as like a data breach of this nature at e-commerce or global E. So a lot of people blame Ledger for every phishing attack that comes out, without realizing that there's more than one way to gain access to this data. Everyone that I see on Reddit always goes, how did they know it was how did they know I own crypto, and how did they get my address? And everybody on Reddit chimes in, because of the data hack from 2020. And now they're going to be talking about this particular data hack. But as I mentioned, we have no idea how many customer records were exposed in this. It's all speculation at this point. What does the Ledger targeted phishing attack look like right now? Users have reported receiving unsolicited emails claiming to be from Ledger support, even when they do not own a Ledger wallet. Experts say attackers often rely less on technical exploits and more on psychological pressure. The best phishing scams are confidence plays. They weaponize trust and time pressure, not necessarily code. They start by flattering your trust by using your real name and real order details, and then pivot to fear and urgency with a security alert or replacement device that demands that you act right now. These messages, he added, increasingly arrive by SMS or as convincing unsolicited support calls, not just email. Experts emphasize that no legitimate company will ever ask for a recovery phrase, and that unsolicited contact is itself a warning sign. Obviously, never share your seed phrase with anyone, ever. He added that users should always verify the actual sender of an email and avoid responding to unsolicited direct messages or customer support messaging arriving off channels, emails, messaging apps, or even paper letters. Do you have to move funds? That's not really advisable. Both experts cautioned against panic-driven on-chain activity. Moving funds does not necessarily reduce risk and may introduce new dangers if users act hastily. Once you are identified as a wallet owner, it does not matter where the crypto is stored. You and not the wallet itself are targeted. He added that moving funds can be counterproductive because moving funds would be public and the hackers would also follow the trail. I wouldn't advise rushing to move funds because that is how one could fall victim to a well-timed phishing attack. Off-chain leaks like this present phishing risks, so users should act with enhanced caution when handling emails, SMS messages, responding to voicemails, calls, etc. for the foreseeable future. So protecting your privacy is key. Protect their privacy at all costs. Don't be public about what you own or do. Hackers look for public signals about your potential wealth or crypto wealth. Our brains are our best bulwark against fraud. Slow down, question the story, and confirm the source before clicking or connecting. Only after that comes the cardinal rule of crypto safety. Never, under any circumstances, share your recovery phrase. So good advice for all times. Let me answer a couple of questions and we'll unbox this interesting, cool wallet I've got over here. Congress made millions of dollars off insider trading, but one guy places a bet and all hell breaks loose. That's a good point, Dan. That's the same thing that's holding up this crypto bill that we talked about, is that the Democrats want something in the bill that will prevent anyone in Congress from profiting off of crypto. And of course, their main thing is attacking Donald Trump and his family for being invested in crypto. But there wasn't a whole lot of outcry, when a lot of senators and congressmen were just making a killing in the stock market because they were using their insider information. It wasn't even illegal for them to do that. And I think they have passed, they did finally pass a law that prevented congressmen and senators from stock trading while they were in office. So we'll see. But yeah. Let's see. It's Maduro, not Marudo. Did I say Marudo? I must have. Sorry about that. Marudo. It's Maduro. This is the issue with buying hardware wallets online. You give your data for shipping, and if leaked, you can be targeted. Best way to protect yourself is leave no trace, no KYC. I like hardware wallets, but downloading a non-custodial wallet app is good, if not better. DocPort is always very careful. He talks about avoiding KYC and avoiding revealing, identifying information when making a purchase. I think I've mentioned this before, that if you really want a Ledger device or a Trezor device, I think, and you don't want a paper trail, then you could just go into Best Buy with a surgical mask. People, since COVID, they really don't raise many eyebrows when you're wearing a surgical mask. Just go in and buy a crypto wallet, with cash. That's one way to avoid that. My thing is, it's too late for me. It's obvious that I'm a crypto user, and I've ordered many wallets, and I get a lot of wallets shipped to me. So it's a little late in the game for me to start trying to avoid scrutiny, I guess to say. But good advice, DocPort. All right, let's check out this wallet. This company, ERRA, makes an e-ink display wallet. And let's take a look. It's been audited by Key Labs, verified by the community. It's got some reviews. It has been reviewed by Cyberskrilla already, and it looks like a German YouTuber. It's air gap design, and it does employ the NFC recovery cards. So it's got a lot of great features. Ledger recently introduced their Ledger recovery key, which is an NFC card that you can use to back up your device. And this really, it's not a replacement for a written seed phrase, but it is a go-to way of backing up your device that's secure and convenient. And so the encrypted NFC cards are, I believe they're included. We'll see when we open up the box. 5 entropy sources for randomness. When you're generating a private key, or when a hardware device is generating a private key, they usually will generate a random private key from the internal circuitry of the device. But there are some devices like the Cold Card and apparently the ERA wallet that you can introduce some of your own randomness. And I'm not sure exactly how that works with the ERA, but let's see if it takes me to another step. Randomness. Here we go. Okay, swipes from your touch, shakes from your motion, scan from your view, and TRNG from SE, secure element chip, right? TRNG from the MCU. So a lot of sources of randomness when generating your key. And, crypto aficionados love randomness in key generation, right? Up to 10 wallets on one device. That's an interesting feature. That can be a little tricky for newcomers. But as I said, this wallet appeals to the savvy crypto user. Blind signing protection, ERA lens. That's a good feature too, to prevent you from signing a malicious smart contract. Waterproof, IP67 waterproof and ultimate durable design. So looks pretty cool. Let's crack this box open and see what's inside. Let's see here. We'll go over here. Okay. Whoa. Tearing the place down. All right. So let's see what we got. All right. So we got our ERA wallet. Let's take a look here. If we can get this thing open. Oh, I did want to point out they have anti-tampering countermeasures on the outside of the box. That laser seal there. Obviously, if someone had opened this, it would be obvious, right? I usually try to cut away from myself. That's what I learned in the Boy Scouts. There we go. So we'll get the shrink wrap off here. And it's always nice to see a good presentation when you're unboxing something. I remember Apple was always good about that in their boxes. All right, so as I mentioned, we've got this anti-tampering countermeasure here, these laser seals. So I believe we can just start from here. Oh, yeah, see, the way it works is when you pull it off, there's residue underneath that would betray anyone that tried to open this without your knowledge, like a supply chain hack of some kind. Want to try and get it there. There it comes. We got that. And we'll take this one off. So yeah, I mean, it would be very obvious, and it would be very difficult to get it back on there after you tried to open it. So that's just one. I'm sure it has its own internal verification as well. All right, so we'll just pull this here. It comes open pretty nice, pretty cool. We'll put that down. Let's see what we got here. Oh, this is very nice. All right. So this is the documentation. And whoops. Oh, I kind of messed it up a little there. All right. So here we go. Well, I don't want to tear the whole thing apart. Welcome to the world of secure crypto management with ERA Wallet. Our device combines cutting-edge technology with an intuitive interface to keep your digital assets safe. Thank you for choosing ERA. All right. Well, I guess I do need to get this off. If I can. Boy, it just doesn't really want to come off this. Okay. I'll probably store it up. The reason I'm doing this, I wanted to see if they have those NFC cards in here. I don't see the NFC, but here's our backup cards. This is pretty standard. And some documentation and QR codes for setup guides, warranties, security warnings. Pretty cool. All right, so the contents are the wallet, wireless charging pad. It includes a wireless charging pad. That's another great benefit. The user manual, the recovery sheets. Doesn't look like it comes with those NFC backup cards. Looks like those are separate. Oh, no. ERA recovery card. You get 3. Oh, I spoke too soon. Let's take a look here. Okay, so we got this device. Very nice. The e-ink display looks, it's pretty high. It looks like about the same size or the same height as the Ledger Flex, but a little thinner. But still a nice, comfortable size. Pardon me. If there's anything else on here that I need to peel off, I guess not. So it's got a permanent protective cover, unless this peels off. I don't think so. No. Very cool. How do you turn it on, I wonder? Ooh. Oh, this button here, right? Place the device on the charging pad and turn it on. Okay, this must be the on. Well, let's see. All right, so there's more to this. Got this charging pad. Okay, with a USB connector. So just give me a second here. Well, let's see. Let's switch over to this camera here. I just wanted to make you aware that I have, if I can find it here, I think this is it. Oh, I must have unplugged my charging cable. But I do have a charging brick here. Which will allow for offline charging, right? So you don't have to connect it to your computer. So we can go ahead and get that going here. Get that going. We'll go back here. All right, and then, okay, here's our NFC backup cards. Pretty cool. Make sure everything's in camera shot here. Okay. Okay. Yes. So, a lot. This is a lot for your money, so to speak. So you get the charging pad, which is not always included with every other crypto hardware wallet, and then you get 3 of these recovery cards. That's very generous. Ledger devices come with just one. But, I mean, Trezor doesn't have these yet. One Key has them, but they're not included in the wallet. You have to buy them separate. So it's pretty cool that you get 3 of these and the charging pad along with the device. And they told me to just put this device on here. See if I can get it to start charging. There. It clicked in. Yeah, there we go. So now we're starting it up. Nice. Okay. So I'm just going to lift it up here. Let's check device info. Legal information, system version, serial number. Okay. Cool stuff. I'm not sure how you would update the firmware. I don't see a slot. I don't see any way to connect this to anything, to be honest with you. So I'm not sure how the firmware works. Perhaps it comes through their app via NFC or Bluetooth. That's pretty interesting. Let's go back here. Very cool. I love this screen. It's very responsive, very clear and easy to read. E-ink display. We'll get started here. We'll scan this and it'll take us over to the app. So I'm going to quickly switch. I'm going to switch back here. And then let's bring this up. Good. And then we'll go back to this. Yeah. So now you can see my phone. So we start off by scanning. I hope I haven't muted my mic or anything. Is everything okay? I have to look over here. Yeah. So we'll just do this. We'll scan the QR code here. And we'll switch to the app. I'll go ahead and get it. All right, and then we'll just go ahead and install. Whoops, of course. Yeah, let's try that again. I want to get the Face ID. There we go, Face ID. So it's going to go ahead and download it for me. And we'll open it up. I'll allow notifications. All right, very cool. We'll get started. We can try this authenticity check. Open the settings menu and navigate to, let's go to next here. Ooh. Oh, open the mobile app, navigate to updates, select firmware updates, choose cloud storage. When your smartphone, let's see, I'm old and blind here. Hang on. When your smartphone begins searching for an NFC connection, press next to begin the update process. Now that's really cool because let's go ahead and do well, it would be nice if we could do the auth check first. So let's see if we can go. I don't think it's going to let me proceed without doing the firmware update first. So let's go back. Let's go to updates first. Start the update on your navigate to updates, select firmware updates, choose cloud storage. Okay, there we go. Get the ERRA wallet close to the phone. Actually, I think it's 82% charged, so I'm just going to stop with the charger. So, bloop. Says next. Okay. Let's see if, is it working? There it goes. Beautiful. Update in progress. Downloading in progress. Ready to scan again. Okay, there. I got it. You can hear a little hepatic feedback when you make that connection. There it goes again. Now this might take longer. Yeah, see, it's kind of going in circles with me here. I don't see any, I don't see any progress on the device itself yet. Please do not move the device away from the phone. Okay. I just want to be able to see on the device if it's progressing. Once I see the progress bar, yeah, I don't know about this. Maybe if I just, no, it's not gonna, aha, there it goes. Okay, now it might be like a multi-step process, right? I'm going to have to connect and reconnect several times. I've seen this before. But we do have some progress on the device itself. Now, normally I would edit this whole like progress part out of my setup video because it looks like it's going to take a while to do this. Maybe it's my fault. Maybe I keep pulling it away and that's why it's not doing seamless. But we're getting close. Yeah, see, it just keeps asking me to reconnect. It says, please. Yeah, it's getting kind of frustrating now. Yeah, I don't think it's gonna. I'm probably just gonna have to finish this later. It's not cooperating with me here. Oh, it says device is connected. Firmware updating. Okay. Maybe if I guess I can't see the progress on the device while I'm doing this. So I'm just going to have to, but I did see some progress, so that's good. 14%. But I don't see any progress. It's stuck, kind of stuck at 14. Okay. Well, it says it's updating, but yeah, I'm not going to have time to go through this whole process. Yeah, we'll see. Anywho, pretty cool. Let's go back over here. So yeah, once I get it updated, then I can whoops, sorry. Once I get it updated, I'll be able to proceed with the rest of the update. It looks like it's kind of stuck at 14. I might have to quit and start over again and just like hold it. Sometimes these NFC interfaces can be a little tricky. So I'll just do this on my own and like edit out the goofs. That's usually what I do. And then once I've got the firmware updated, I'll do that authenticity check and then get the wallet set up. It'll be pretty interesting. So I think it's a cool wallet. I like the e-ink display. The words are a little small in some places. I had to use my magnifying glass, but that's everywhere these days, you know. Even the instructions on the biscuits, you know, are too small for me to read. So I have to whip out a magnifying glass. I've got one upstairs and downstairs. Anyone get an email from Gemini saying they're transitioning customers to self-custody? That sounds like a big scam, HR by Catherine. I would not really trust any. You know, why would a exchange transition their customers to self-custody? They make it sound official, but that's a very common ploy, you know, to make Thinkle. They want. There's also another one going out right now called Web3, where you'll get an email or a text or something saying that, you know, it's urgent that you update to Web3, and then they'll get you on the horn and they'll give you instructions, and basically they'll have you create a Web3 wallet in your browser, and then they'll give you all the instructions to transfer all of your assets from your, you know, hardware wallet to this hot wallet with an attacker's address. So yeah, anytime someone contacts you unsolicited and they're giving you this spiel about how things need to be transferred from one place to another, that's a big red flag, Catherine. So I hope you didn't follow up on that. Let's see. I wonder if it would work with the phone and device back to back. That's a good question. The picture kind of showed, yeah, now it's just kind of stuck. Let me try it again here. Oh, wait. What was that? Let me look at that again. No, the picture on the phone that I'm looking at shows the front of the device and instructs you to hold that behind the phone. I just don't think I've found the sweet spot. You kind of have to. Yeah, now I think I'm like in the middle of this thing. I'm just not going to mess around with it anymore. But according to the instructions, the orientation is that you're looking at the front of the device from behind the phone. So we'll see. Anyway, guys, thank you for sticking with me. I did get kind of a late start because I forgot to go live before I started talking. And so that was a little faux pas. But thank you, Dan, for calling me and letting me know about that so we could get the live stream going. Thank you, Dave Brewer, for becoming a member. Thank you, Kenny, for the news. Thank you for everyone that asked questions. Thank you, Dan, for moderating. Always good to have you around. And I guess that's it. Let's go ahead and start this close up. I will be here again next week. Please join me again for the live stream from Michigan, where you can throw up questions and I'll do my best to get them answered. Every Saturday, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Hope to see you there. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you'd like to subscribe to the channel, I would appreciate it. When you subscribe, there's a little bell that you can click. That will allow you to be alerted whenever I post new content. Once again, thanks for joining me and hope to see you guys again soon. Good night, everybody.